Have you ever get frustrated by the average output by a large language model such as Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT? You see, every time we're trying to use a generative AI tool, we need to give it some inputs, and then it will process information and give us some kind of output. The quality of the output are related to the processing power and how intelligent this model is, that's for sure, but it also depends on the quality of the input the human user have full control over. Increasingly, we hear all fantastic new advancement in AI about different models, new capabilities, but at the same time, a shortcut is to focus on the input quality. Because all the large language models, they ingest a huge corpus to give you the average of the internet level of result. If our input is only generic, simple, one sentence, the outputs tend to similar, vague, and bland. So we don't necessarily want to get to the average level of the internet, and we aim to get extraordinary result. While we have fantastic tools today like Gemini 2.5 Pro, the key is to refine our input so that we give better and more specific orders to the large language model so it can produce output that are way better than the standard average level. Today I'm going to share with you the AI workflow I use to tackle my life challenges. And we're going to use 3 tools today. First is Google Scholar. Now, if you have used Gemini, you know that Google has done a fantastic job of incorporating different Google tools in its ecosystem, but Google Scholar is not one of them, likely due to licensing issues. The good news is this is a tool that is very straightforward to use. I have spent over a decade working as a professional academic researcher. I know a thing or two about doing efficient search in Google Scholar to get credible information. Now let's dive in. So first, let's go to Google Scholar. I want to know how to improve my productivity while working from home. So I just type productivity work from home. And then you see all these different articles being referenced. Some of them have PDFs attached here, meaning that if you click on it, it will bring you directly to the PDF or downloading the PDF for you. Not a professional researcher. You wanted to solve a specific problem and we wanted to find some credible resources. I have a really simple principle you can follow and grab your articles within 5 minutes. Really simple. It's called the 3-2-1 method. 3 meaning when you enter the keyword, Google Scholar will automatically list articles by relevance of all time. Then I want you to find the 3 most cited articles relevant to your topic. In those cases, it's very likely to be the top 3 articles on the first page. So I'm just going to download all 3 of them. And this is the first one. And the second, it downloads directly. And then the third, I like to include the title when we do save as, so I know what article this is. Now remember, we're not here to do a comprehensive lit review for a dissertation. We're just trying to get credible resources from academic papers. So we don't need to worry about getting tons of papers and read all of them. And now the second I want to do is use custom range on the left side. Under any time, now I usually go with the most recent 3 years. So now it's 2025, or just type in 2023 here. And we just leave the current year blank and do another round of search. So we have the most recent articles we can use from. Now you might see some overlapped articles from the most cited of all time and the most cited in the recent 2 to 3 years. In that case, we just wanted to select next 2 articles from the specified time range. In this case, I'm going to download this Chicago Journal. In this one, the evolution of work from home. We've completed the first 2 steps, and the third step is even more straightforward and simple. I want you to add 1 word after your keyword of choice, which is review. Why is this so? because usually researchers in any given field, some of them will spend a lot of time doing a meta review, search articles produced in the last decade or even longer. So it's almost a cheat sheet, if you will, in the academic world, and those are usually great treasure source for you to discover more articles and give you a holistic overview of what kind of research is being done and summarized by professional researchers themselves. So let's do productivity work from home review, and then if you want to find things like influence of drinking coffee, something like that, you can always do influence of drinking coffee review. So the first one, the impact of work from home on employee performance and productivity, is systematic review. It's pretty good. Second one is work from home and productivity, evidence from personnel and analysts. We've already included this one. Post-COVID remote working and its impact on people, productivity, and the planet. An exploratory scoping review. I'm going to download this one. And that concludes our 3-2-1 method. And before we move on to the second tool today, I do want to offer a little tip here, because sometimes I want to download, they already have a PDF link attached. However, if your topic of choice does not have a lot of them already having PDF links, I would add something like this, file type, PDF in front. So before I do this, you see at least there's one link where it does not have PDF link. But when I add this file type PDF and do the search again, now everything selected will have a PDF link. Let's try the second page. Everything has a PDF link. So this is very useful. Now we're at notebooklm.google.com. I'm just gonna click create new. The first thing I want to close this, and I'll give it a name on productivity work from home. I think this is just cleaner and better for my sanity. And then we load up, remember how many PDFs we just downloaded? The 3-2-1 method, so we have 6 PDFs, research articles. We're just gonna load in all 6 of them. I think it's really important to name your notebook title first and not to let the AI guess it, so it knows which direction it should go after viewing your uploaded resources. Perfect. Now, to make it even more credible, this time I'm going to use the discover function. Some of you may ask, you save yourself some time, just ask NotebookLM here to find credible articles from Google Scholar for you. Now, that's a smart question. And trust me, I've tried that in the past several times, and I didn't find it to be smart enough yet to pick out most credible sources. Sometimes the articles can be random, or if I wanted to focus in the US market, it could give me something in a different country. Or sometimes the articles it found have very low citation numbers, so I just don't have high trust in those kind of articles. However, the discover function is still very useful. Now, I usually directly ask it to include YouTube videos. So please find YouTube videos offering actionable tips on how to improve productivity while working from home. All right, import all of them. Now, remember our goal here is to generate a quality input prompt for the large language model to process and give us high quality output. So we're not using NotebookLM here to directly give us answers, but we want to significantly improve our input quality. So instead of giving the large language model all the PDFs and papers, we wanted to connect that with the specific problems we are facing. And then at this time, I made a mind map while selecting all of them. All right, let's open the mind map. It's such a convenient way for us to visualize the different layers of concepts discussed in these papers and videos relating to the larger umbrella item, working from home. We can expand the item that we're most interested in. Now, the idea of looking at the mind map is to quickly pick out the sub-level components related to your central question. So you can ask follow-up questions, and then you can craft more specific question prompts, get the tailor-made answers. For me, in my workflow, I usually ask, following the 80-20 rule, list the 10 most impactful aspects related to improving productivity while working from home and 10 most counterintuitive elements. Now, I have selected all sources. Of course, you can choose to first select the academic paper sources and then also try the combined versions with YouTube videos and probably some other blog articles and anything NotebookLM has helped you retrieve. Let's give it a try. Here are the results based on the sources provided in our conversation history, and that's important. It will take into account your conversation history so you get a better idea of where you want to focus most on. And that's why I ask you to first use the mind map and pick out the items you're most interested in. Let's look at some of the most counterintuitive elements. The mandatory shift to work from home led to more total time spent attending a large number of shorter, larger group meetings, which was associated with decreased focus time and potentially lower productivity. Household characteristics, presence of others such as children, are not always correlated with outcomes. When you're managing a remote team, it's important to know the challenges your employees might be facing or you yourself might be facing before you design a company policy. I'm going to save to note so that I won't miss this. Time you open this notebook, this conversation history will not be here anymore. Let's move on to the third and last tool of my AI workflow today, which is Gemini 2.5. I'm going to choose 2.5 Pro and click on the canvas mode. Create a work from home best practices doc that I can share with my team based on the following. I'm just going to copy over. I like to separate this section with hashtags. Now we have achieved a high quality input to a highly powerful large language model. And let's see if we're going to be satisfied with the output. All right, here we can see that roughly a 2 to 3 page long doc being created within just 10 seconds. This document provides a comprehensive set of best practices based on the information you shared. And these results are just very specific and based on academic studies. Very nice. What if I try to design an interactive dashboard so that we track the work from home productivity level? So help me design an interactive dashboard so that I can track my work from home productivity progress based on the following. And once again, saying it's automatically are using Firestore for data storage. Wow. So not only front end, but also back end. It's almost doing a production ready app. Wow. Gemini produced a daily login form for me to track my productivity with different areas created based on the input source we shared with it. So there is a date and task description. I can choose whether it's a whole piece of work or not. So that must be very important. And we can add task here, clarity of feedback from work, receive helpful feedback from manager or colleagues, perceived productivity, satisfaction, job autonomy, focus level, feeling of connection, your progress. I just put in some random selections, so because you just want to see the final result. Fill out this field. We can also remove this one if we don't want this task. And then save daily log. It will have a prompt says entry for date saved successfully. And there's a progress summary. This is quite amazing. And I also like the color combo. It also says there's a link to share. Wow, I'm truly impressed. And it says it has already created user authentication. User can either anonymously sign in or use custom token. And its data is stored in a Firebase. Wow, this is almost a production-ready app. You see firsthand the power of first using Google Scholar to find really credible resources such as academic papers and reports, and then because NotebookLM is less likely to hallucinate and use NotebookLM to generate a structure and overview of those resources so that you can copy and paste those in as part of your large language model prompt to be used in a tool like Gemini 2.5 Pro, and you can ask it to produce a workplace document or an interactive dashboard. And then there's so many other functions you can explore given different topics and types of tasks. So if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe and share it with anybody you think might benefit from watching it, and comments down below. See you next time.